Hi everybody, my name is Caleb Morse, and I'm going to be doing the introductory speech for our public speaking class. I'm going to be going over kind of like just some background information about me, just like some childhood stories and stuff like that. So to just kind of start off right off the bat, I have definitely a bit of a social chameleon personality. I'm a personal trainer over at Crunch here in Fort Collins. So I'm talking to a lot of different people about a lot of different things throughout the day. So because of that, I've kind of learned to expand my personality kind of more than what I like. I definitely like to learn more about other people's interests now and stuff like that. And I will say growing up, I wasn't always like that. I was definitely a little more introverted growing up. And I think that's because I was born in Michigan. My whole family is from Michigan. But my parents had me in college, and they were never really together. But they decided to raise me. They're about an hour apart when they graduated. So I was always bouncing around between them, grandparents' house, cousins' houses, stuff like that. Just people to take care of me when I was a baby. And so because of that, I think I learned how to be social and like talk to a lot of different people. But I always kind of had to entertain myself and like bring myself with me and just have the things I enjoyed doing with me at all times. So that's where the introvertedness came in a little bit. And I think that's also why I'm a bit of a nerd and a gamer today as well. Me and my friends go to Comic-Con every year. I enjoy doing that, and it's just a good way to get out with my friends and stuff like that. And growing up, I will say one of the ways that I learned how to socialize more was through sports. I was definitely a multi-sport athlete growing up. In Michigan, I only played about 2 or 3 sports, which was just like soccer, football, and I was learning how to swim, so I was doing some of the swimming sports. And then in 2nd grade, my mom met a guy named Bill, who was a bit of an asshole, but that's a story for another time. We moved to Chicago when I was in 2nd grade, so about 9, 8 years old. And so when I moved there, one of the ways that, again, I wanted to make friends, so I just joined a couple of sports teams. I joined baseball, did soccer and football again, but then I also did basketball. So by the time that I was about 10 or 11, I was doing probably like a half dozen different sports, which I enjoyed doing. It was just a good way to make friends and socialize and just kind of make new friends in a new area. By the time high school came around, it was a whole different story, and I'm definitely glad I did a lot of sports because the high school I went to is Lyons Township High School in Illinois, and it was about 4,500 students, give or take. And then we had 2 campuses for it. So each grade had about 1,000 to 1,100 students. So when we went from elementary school, middle school having less than 500 students, and then getting to a high school that was almost the size of like some universities, it was definitely a whole different story. But because I had played a lot of sports growing up, I had already met a lot of people from different schools, and it was definitely had a bit of a jump on the curve. So because of that, made a lot of friends. My personality definitely expanded. That's where the social chameleon kind of started, I think. And throughout that, high school was good, made a lot of friends, and I went to college. And because of all the sports that I had done, I made a lot of friends. I decided to kind of do that as well. Did a lot of IM clubs, decided to rush and join a fraternity. And because I had access to a lot of friends who had a lot of different upbringings and a lot of different experiences in their childhood. I noticed a lot of different people didn't always have the same experiences. Like most people's high schools were not 4,500 students. Some people's high schools were less than my elementary school. So it was interesting coming here to CSU, meeting all these different people. But I learned a lot of people had trouble kind of dealing with their emotions and stuff that they had dealt with growing up. So during COVID, in my fraternity, I decided to make a new exec board position, just called Health Advocate. I just kind of was like an entity for people to come to and talk about anything that they had been dealing with or just wanted to talk about, again, because it was COVID, everybody was kind of depressed. So people were coming to me, talking to me, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, the National Exec Board heard about it and reached out to me and asked me to work with a Stanford professor named Alan Mishra. And together, him and I made a mental health program called Vitality Explorer that is offered to a lot of college students today. And I guess what I really wanted to say with that whole story is, growing up, I never really thought I'd be in a position where I'm helping other people mentally, just because I was always so isolated mentally. I was just always bouncing around, trying to socialize, but never feeling like I quite fit in, because I was going everywhere all the time. And now it's interesting, just here I am, barely an adult, just a young man, and helping people with their own issues as well. Just kind of take it as a thing that you never really know what life's going to throw you and what opportunities you're going to have, but always take it head on. But yeah, thank you for listening to my introductory speech, and yeah.